do you respond to the larger development crisis that is happening? So it started off, this is the birthplace. Where you guys are right now, Mahuda, this is where the Gravikas as an organization was established, and it was registered in 1979. And Joe Median, the founder who led it, he's the chairman. And so lastly, the work was concentrated around Ganjam district and in and around this place. That's the Kerandimar Hills, right? We're working with the tribal communities in and around the district. And we largely was working with the communities to address some of the right-based problems. Right? We also led some movements in the village to abolish the issues that we were seeing due to alcohol, from the educational related gaps that we are facing. We are working primarily with the tribal communities in and around Mahuda, where you guys are right? The Kerandimar Hills region. And slowly we try to organize ourselves into focusing much more on a programmatic pillar, programmatic lens. How do we bring in two sides, or how do we answer these problems much more focused, right? That's the birth of integrated tribal program in 1979. That's where we identified issues that we wanted to work with. That is, on community health, the malaria issue that was happening largely in and around the area. It was a huge issue, the non-formal education system. We wanted to see how we could generate the uptake among the how do we do night schools? How do we do giving some 2 to 3 hours of teaching in the villages, right? Some bit of education, the forest protection, FRA, and the land related issues. That's one part of how we are organizing ourselves as an organization. Second part was working on water. How do we understood water was a big, there's something that we had huge potential in working. We also started our work, the baby steps of working started since 1995, focusing on water. One of the things was working on water. How do we provide safe drinking water? 1982 onwards, my friend Runad will brief you about how we took up some of the work in much more focused way.
Hello everyone. हिंदी सबको समझ में आए?
हाँ बिल्कुल.
Anyone has problem?
Yeah, perfect.
So, working with the community, like Gravikas realized that education is the thing, like for me, like tribal community has been excluded. So, Gravikas thought that like we should start with education also. So they started non-formal education, night schools. You mentioned it earlier video also. And then gradually they converted into formal education. So now we have 4 schools. Like from 9 in Udapada, Ganjam, and then Coimbatore, Vedapati we have. And then we have another in Alahadi also.
Moving forward, we also focused on renewable energy, which was like a very big intervention that Gravikas decided to do. So the main focus was putting in biogas plants to bring in technology into the mainstream of rural development, which was initially not there. So now Gravikas is also trying to expand into different renewable energy technologies, which is solar PV, micro, biofuels, etc. Natural resource management was also one of the areas where Gravikas decided to intervene, as it saw that because these are full tribal areas, there's a lot of forestry that goes in and around these areas. So they focused on social forestry program, which was initiated in 1985. All the common land that was there, or the wasteland that was there, was brought in together to do root fuel timber yielding species, in specifically in Ganjam, Vedapati, and Kalahandi districts. So, as you all might be knowing about tribals practicing slash and burn and shifting cultivation. So they also have, so as the government put in more stringent laws, their access to this lands was limited. So in convergence with the government, we brought in the horticulture department and also integrated water and land water management systems so that we can do an intervention which would help them as well. So there's this convergence that happens. Also specifically in Bolangir and Bargarh districts, which are like drought-prone districts, we focused on reviving the water tables because these people, the tribals in Odisha are also dependent both. Their water demands are focused both on drinking water and also agricultural demands are focused on the land to groundwater as well. So water.
How far is Mahanadi from here? Mahanadi is also going through Odisha. So how far is it from here? It's in Cuttack.
Mahanadi River.
Mahanadi River.
No idea.
Mahanadi, I'm asking how far is it from here?
So we can take the questions.
So yeah,
We'll take Q&A session at the end. We can take that forward. So yeah, so as I was telling that this watershed approach was taken in order to revive and or to replenish the water systems that are both used for drinking and agriculture systems. Habitat development was so initially, as Jason explained about the theme coming in as disaster response. We were also focused on so this habitat development means that we were focused on disaster. This as a disaster response mechanism. So there are cost-effective disaster-proof houses that was built as a response to these to the cyclones that would come in and around these years also. Moving on to water and sanitation. Water and sanitation is also one of main of Gram Vikas's working areas. So Gram Vikas developed its rural health and environment program in 1995. As I told that the water is used both for drinking and agricultural purposes. In the drinking water aspect, a lot of pollution, like safe drinking water, was a concern at that point of time as well, and still is being addressed. So the right to have access to clean drinking water was one major point that was focused on. And this could be contaminated due to human waste, etc. So we will now show a video which will give you much more idea about what we have been talking about.
So, I just to brief this first part of the presentation, a lot of small things led to a lot of bigger things, led to identifying problems in the communities, led to programs coming into existence, and we focusing. Now we are like, okay, there was this time in biogas, like Akash was like biogas and water and sanitation. Those were like the bigger interventions that Nagika started focusing on. So taking from what started small to what expanded from Banjam, then Gajpati, then Kalahandi, then the Koimur, responding to the problems that is happening in the grassroots is something that how we formalize as an organization, how we responding, how we stay relevant to this. Right, so what we will show now is water and sanitation, an intervention we took for a fairly long time in Gramvikas. So she'll please be here right now.
Discrimination is for nature and is practiced in a very violent form. People began to discriminate and say that you can't use the same water, you are dirty, you can't walk on our streets. Yeah, I have seen in my life when people were humiliated, when indignities were heaped on people, they became less than human. Initially, when we go to a village and tell that we can all work together and you can have a toilet, a bathing facility, privacy, 24 hours, piped water supply, unless they have seen it being implemented in a nearby village, most they will not believe it. There is the dominant thinking that both people should have those solutions.
पानी आसिलागी आसिला घरले त पानी काट्न गएछ होला कम पानीले पत्र बोल्ने त नभए कसरी आइरहेको छ समस्या बिमार हो कि
सागे अनु जीव के मले क्या आंसर आता है सत्र के जीव मयो એટલે કોણ બેન દેલા અમે કોઈને પાણી અમે ગાલે બોલતે આવ ના અમે પાણી ટીકે દોતા અમે પાણી ખાલે અમે पिलानो દેવ આરોગ્ય કરું અમે પાણી દોતા.
Health is the biggest economic asset of the poor. Being sick with a metabolic disease like diarrhea or dysentery or typhoid, people will be sick for 15 days. They will not be able to work. They will not be able to earn. If they don't earn, they will eat. The Nandijas program of water and sanitation is a game changer. It restores the dignity of women. It brings unity in the village. Water and sanitation program creates an enabling environment so that all aspects of development can take off. Water and sanitation is a vehicle for eliminating exclusion.
हामी काम साथले एका मिटिङमा बस्यौं जोडी गर्दै एका गर्नु जोडी खाइ एका बसी खाइ जोडी पिइ एका बसी पिइ जति काकु जति लाग्न त हम सँगै मिसिरहेको छु त्यसले आगो त आगो मिसिरहेको हैन.
All families have to sign that they will participate without even a single exception. Then they work on to bring all the local materials. They make the bricks, bring the rubber, sand. They begin to construct under our supervision a toilet and a bathing room. Then Grameen class comes in with materials which have to be externally procured, like cement, steel, commode, the roof, door. Then you find a very safe water source. Water is piped to every family 3 times. We believe that unless people contribute substantially to a program, then the ownership of that program will not rest on. The Dalit woman who is a widow, the poorest in the village, she has the same type of toilet and shower room as the richest Brahmin woman in that village.
वर्तमानमा एउटा ग्रामको ठाउँहरुको जहाँ एउटा सब उन्नति काम समाजमा कस्तो प्रकार फरक मैले आफ्नो ठाउँ प्रोग्राम पासा हाम्रो अस्पतालमा सबैको भलो सुविधा होला सबै सुविधा
They are ready. They have made huge contributions. They are waiting for the funds to come from charity water.
This video is a testament to the water and sanitation program and how we decided to partner with the communities and what approach we took to take the water. Right? So I don't have to go dwell deeper into it, but what is key is that we expanded our work in a big way. We supported 1.2 lakh households in 960 habitations and almost we reached 600 gram panchayats. You know, like I told you, it's a bunch of volunteers coming in today. You know, this is the testament to the impact that the water and sanitation program could achieve. One thing to note, like Joe was telling in the video, you know, how functional tap connections. We were like, no, not just toilets. We will give toilet and bathing. We will give 3 tap connections and we'll ensure that they have sufficient water. This is the awards. Some of the partner organizations that we partner with, I'll just skip through this. I'll take the questions a little later. So we can quickly take questions. We are running short on time, but I can take 1 or 2 questions. Is that okay? Meaning, partner in the sense, committee or donor organization. And there is donor organization, there is knowledge support organization, and there are some organizations that help with our capacities where we lack.
Where the water that is being used is being brought.
Yeah, so source of water depending on the village, we have. I'll just answer your question. So depending on the village, we decide the source, right? So if it's Kalahandi, primarily the hilly regions, then we'll see how we could bring the source from a spring from the nearby. You know? If it's a plain area like Ganjam or like let's say part of Gajpati, right? We look at how we could do borewell, right? How do we bring water from the borewell? Primarily borewell is what we focus on, but especially the tribal dominant areas of Kalahandi, some part of Gajpati, we look at spring recharge. That's where the watershed and the spring recharge works. Yes, that's we have something called as a hydro doser. Not in all the villages. We have something called as a hydro doser that we have experimented in a few villages where a chlorinator puts in the chlorine in certain time interval into the water and then it gets supplied. That's just largely what our water quality program is on, carrying a field testing kit, right? And testing the water, bacteria, nitrate and fluoride in the village using the committees that we use.
Yeah. So, I'm Kishore Gupta.
Yes.
Probably will talk.
Yeah.
So, Gramika appeared in 1979. No, I was born in 1979. It is around 35 years. So, in the intervention of Gramika, what is the ratio of conversion happened from poor to better quality of life to the rural livelihood? So, maybe you can say at that time their grandfather was BPL, below poverty line, and again with his son became BPL, and now their grandson also BPL. So, is there any conversion happened from poor to better life? I cannot say it is rich. Can it rich?
So we have content. So we are. Yeah. So can we take the questions later? We are running on time. One more and then we have impact studies done on the pipe water supply systems that we have constructed. But something that was most revolutionary in our line of work was we did a SAS survey. That is a status assessment survey in 2019 of the impact of our pipe water supply systems. Right? You see how many of them are functional, how many of them are not functional, and all. So largely, if you look at it, what from our understanding is that especially the women and the girl child, right, the families. So a lot of the burden on them has decreased because of pipe water supply systems that has been established in the villages. Right? So a very and more or less. Yeah. Yeah, and more or less on, and more or less on the intergenerational aspect of impact, that is something that we have still yet to. Yes, Vasundhara and the evaluation. Yeah, go ahead.
So in the video you showed that the kids were playing together from the poor and the middle class. Both of the people were playing together, the kids. So how you remove or diminish the concept of superiority and inferiority in the village? How you change the mindset of the people that they're equal to us, that our kids can play with the poor people.
So see, these are, we have to understand, we are talking about real issues, real people, real realities, and these are we ensure, see, with pipe water supply system, where when we call a meeting, right, when we call a meeting where there are two sahis, two different castes in the village, there are times when only people from one hamlet used to come and attend the meeting. But with the issue of water and water being necessary for all, suddenly the communities come together and they're sitting together. Right? I mean, so that itself is a certain sense of taking these, the notes, right? So ensuring kids and how do they do it, that's not something that we intensively work on, but we know the power of water and sanitation structures and how that can answer some of these problems. So yeah, so to answer some of the questions, that that's something, hopefully those things will change over time, but that's not something that we focus our energy on to, but we know that some of the interventions we work with can answer that, right, to some extent. Yes. Alright, so we are continuing, guys, we are short on time, very sorry. This is very important for the Gram Vikas's life history as an organization. We are getting into the 5th decade. We are looking back, we had a session where we are looking back, we are looking at our strengths as an organization, what we do and why we do what we do with the organization, with the organizations, with the communities we partner with. And then we look at the world that's changing around us and how do we organize ourselves to respond to the new changes, new needs in the communities. Right? Now it's longer, water has been something, infrastructure has been something the government is working on. And then, so we looking at other needs and wants in the world around us and how do we respond to them. So that's the work of the Gram Vikas 85 strategy direction in 2019. And we, again, like how the video was telling, we made sure we took by full heart the mantra approach. And the mantra approach is this, right there, when Joe was telling in the video, right, the mantra approach. This is the model that we till date stick by, and like I'm not going to go into it, but make sure that everyone in the village participates. Share cost, the exact cost is not shared only by Gram Vikas, but the communities also. It could be on labor, it could be mobilizing resources from the panchayat. Take responsibility, how do they ensure that they will, in the meetings, how do they also take responsibility of carrying out some of the work. Equitable participation. We are not like, okay, this hamlet will only work, that no. How do we make sure equitable participation happens while the construction happens? Financial sustainability, how do we maintain a corpus fund? How do people put in 150, whatever amount of money that they can contribute, every household? How is the corpus fund maintained? Because years to come, the village is going to expand and we need more toilets and bathrooms in the village. So how does the committee, how do they don't burn their own cash resources but have a corpus fund for that, right? So that could be this. Right now, presently we are working in 15 districts of Odisha and one in Jharkhand, Gunda. Again, rectify approach. Everything that you guys saw till now, we organized into 6 programmatic pillars. I briefed you guys through education, I briefed you guys through village institutions, working with committees, water, livelihoods, the forestry, the working with on FRA and all that. We all brought it down to 6 pillars right now. Right? And we're like, okay, so this 6 pillars is what, how, and we're looking at our strengths, this is how we respond. This is what we build on. Then we took an approach to how do we implement the approach. That's that's the birth of Water Secure Gram Panchayat program and Safe and Dignified Migration program. Right? So more on this will be the brief by Runal here. These are our programmatic platforms where we bring in all the other 6 programs. Right?
तो अभी तक हम लोगों ने ग्राम विकास की जर्नी के बारे में देखा। तो बहुत सारे एरिया में काम करने के बाद ग्राम विकास को लगा कि नहीं, एक प्लेटफॉर्म होना चाहिए, किस तरीके से काम करें, स्ट्रेटजी होना चाहिए। तो 2 प्रोग्राम को लेकर के आए। पहला था वाटर सिक्योर ग्राम पंचायत और दूसरा है सेफ एंड डिग्निफाइड माइग्रेशन। सो इसके अंदर में जो हमने 6 पिलर्स देखे, इसके अंदर में आता है। तो वाटर सिक्योर ग्राम पंचायत का यूनिट जो है वो ग्राम पंचायत है। पहले ग्राम विकास क्या करता था कि विलेज के साथ काम करते थे, लेकिन अभी यूनिट एज ए जीपी को ग्राम पंचायत को फोकस करके काम किया जा रहा है। तो 2030 तक का हमारा टारगेट है 1000 जैसे ग्राम पंचायत के साथ काम करना, वाटर सिक्योर ग्राम पंचायत के अंदर में लाने का। सेफ एंड डिग्निफाइड माइग्रेशन प्रोग्राम के अंतर्गत उड़ीसा में हम लोग देखते हैं कि बहुत सारा माइग्रेशन होता है। पीपल केरला जाते हैं, मुंबई जाते हैं काम करने के लिए। तो उनका जो है सेफ्टी और डिग्निटी नहीं होता है, मतलब काम करने के दौरान कौन कहाँ जा रहा है इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं होता है। तो ग्राम विकास क्या करती है, उन सारी चीज़ों का इन्फॉर्मेशन, उनकी सेफ्टी को एश्योर करती है कि हाँ एक सेफ एंड डिग्निफाइड माइग्रेशन हो। और इसके अंतर्गत हमारा एम है कि 90,000 हाउस होल्ड 2025 के अंतर्गत हम लोग करें।
So like Ronald said, you know, we started looking at how to bring all of these pillars into one umbrella and how do we respond in a multi-pronged approach, multi-thematically, and also you know look at how do we implement it, you know, because water is such a complicated issue in rural India that you have to the unit. One of the reasons why we use the Gram Panchayat as a unit is also to answer to the large scale of the water problem. Right? I mean, it is spread across. And how do we build institutions at the village level and at the panchayat level to answer to some of these issues, right? And we also wanted to work. We also wanted to use the Gram Panchayat as a fulcrum to move this. How do we work with local governance to advance these causes? Because the panchayats, though you know, sometimes we have a little skepticism about panchayat, but a lot of the funds, a lot of the work that comes under, you know, how do we mobilize those funds? How do we work with the panchayats to actively, you know, bring in the development of the panchayat level, of the village level is something that we are focusing on and we are moving in that direction. So, like you know, this part is very important for our work because, like you said, there are glimpses of technology that you see in our work, like glimpses of technology here and there. Now we're like, you know, we know what is to be done with technology, but how do we learn as an organization to use technology, demystify it? How can people tinker with it, the community? How can they understand about aquifer mapping? How can they understand about water quality testing? You know? How can they understand about various surveys that is to be done? Right? So we make sure that this part, the technological applications, how do we demystify it? How do we bring it to the organization? How do we use it to answer some of the issues that we want? And capacity building, again, local institutions working with panchayats, converges, working with village level institutions. How do we strengthen them? How do we bring in leadership capacity? How do we work with SHG women? That's also how we are approaching this the program platform. 4 pillars of water secure Gram Panchayat: water equity and resilience, sustainability of water, prosperity from water, safety of water. Under these 4 pillars, we will organize all the other program pillars under these 4 pillars. Okay?
Coming on to safe and dignified migration program, as he explained in the WLGP, we have different components through which we want to address the current issues in this current context. So, as you all might see that as COVID came, migration became a primary subject. So, migration was happening initially as well. We just decided to now bring it to mainstream with the organization's work. The Safe and Dignified Migration Program has been divided into 4 aspects, that is occupational, emotional, financial and social. In the occupational aspect, basically what we empower them with this, the ability to choose based on the correct information, full knowledge and employment, terms and conditions, freedom from exploitation, appropriate skills and better jobs. So they have made certain SPSK centers, which is Shramik Bandhu Seva Kendras. It is an organization intervention that has been done through which this information is being provided, and these 4 aspects are being covered through that. So the emotional aspect is that while the migrants travel to other places, there is a lack of communication that might happen with the families. So in order for the wife at home to be connected to his husband who's probably migrated somewhere, that aspect is also being taken through that. And then financial aspect is to make remittances easy, low transaction costs on the terms of banking, making them more financially literate as and when they migrate to where they migrate, so that they're more aware of, so that they're not exploited as much, they're more well informed. That is the main idea of bringing the financial aspect in this. And social aspect is access to social protection schemes for workers at the destination level. So once they've gone from here, it's not like that we just work on this end. We make sure that we work on our end and also at the destination end, and then we collaborate and do convergence on that end as well, so that they're both connected on both the sides. They have this kind of safety that's there. There's access to schemes for staying behind families. So families who are, some family members and families who might be left behind as well. So how can they access the schemes that are available? And also, so the women who have been in the villages now can leverage SHGs and similar platforms while their partners are migrating to other areas. The approach has been to create community level capabilities, institutional system and processes, then migrant support system, which I said SBSKs, and then promote skill building of men and women for better employment opportunities. Interface mechanism between migrants and the administration. So the local administration is also involved in this process. There's a convergence that happens on that end as well. Main areas where it has been happening is in Kalahandi and Aribadi. Yeah, so 2 areas is where it has been happening majorly. And then specialized agencies programs at different migrant destinations, means that there are other organizations also working in the field of migration. So we also collaborate with them, and we also make sure that these platforms are accessible to the people who are affected by migration.
So like, just to reiterate what Akansha was telling, our model, we have a center, we have a Shramik Bandhu Seva Kendra here at the destination, at the source location. At the destination, we have something called BSSK, Bandhu Shramik Seva Kendra, and we partner with another migration tech hub called CMID in Kerala, and we support them here with the 4 pillars. We also make sure that we support them there with occupational, emotional. How do we answer these? So both of these is how we try to see, not just the source but the destination also. We answer to some of these, imminent problems that people from our communities and people from Odisha face, right? So that's the bit on 2 approaches and how we came from where we are to where we are today, and we are working towards. We are working in the same organization. The bits and pieces trying to understand and try to see how we would go forward. Alright, so right now, any questions, please take it at the plenary. Keep your questions, we'll be taking at the plenary. Alright, we can head to the plenary right now. Thank you so much, guys.